I work for Laura's, and what I do is I'm part of the international red team. So what that means is I usually have 2 days to a week to learn a new language and then get dropped off in the country, social engineer people, and then break into buildings.
And you have to work with DJ Slurp.
Yes, I got to work with DJ Slurp as well. So recently I found myself in China, which is a whole nother set of restrictions and guidelines you got to deal with. You can't exactly pack up the red team bag and go over there with a bunch of lockpicks and pry bars and other things. So we had to take in a lot of different considerations because we went to go attack one of the largest component manufacturers.
Eat the microphone. Eat the microphone.
We went to go attack one of the major component manufacturers on the planet, which was out of China. So that's where they make all the little components and everything for the boards and whatnot. So what we ended up doing is going over there and having to deal with the firewall. Now if you see here on the lower left there is Walmarts in China. And yes, they do have rednecks in their Walmarts as well. On the right is a binder full of keys. That's a key to every lock that exists in the factory, and that's the trophy I got to take home. So we social engineered the living daylights out of them. So the biggest thing you have to worry about when you go to China, whether for business or anything else, is the Great Firewall of China. And we always hear about it, how they use it as a tool of oppression to squash down things, you can't get anything out. And it's actually really well designed. One of the main things I had to deal with is I was in Shanghai and Wuxi. In Shanghai, they have one of the main hubs where they filter everything and they shove all the traffic in, so they have entire teams of people, like from the PLA and whatnot, sorting through all your results. So in addition to I can't get out of the country, I don't want everything filtered through because I have to exfiltrate data from a client. So when I went to use Google, you're greeted with this screen. Now the best part of this is depending upon what it finds on your user agent string, it'll shove down malware to you and put an agent on your machine so they can keep track of what the hell you're doing. Because they don't want you to use Google. If you press anything on that screen, it just doesn't work. So that just shoves out malware, they don't want you to do that. You can use Yahoo, and 2 of the results of every page on Yahoo you can actually click on. Everything is censored, so it's a major pain in the ass. So how do we get around this? Because they even detect if you're running proxy filters. So here you can see my IP, and you can see that no proxies in place. They don't like that.
Did you take the China salary survey?
No, I didn't. I didn't click on anything over there. So what's the number 1 rule of lock picking? Anyone? Number 1 rule lock picking. What?
Use a bump key.
Anyone else? Number 1 rule lock picking. Check the door. Sometimes it's open. You don't have to pick the back. This is one of those cases because we've heard about the big bad firewall of China. It blocks everything. So wonder if I could just use a SOC 5 proxy and shuttle around it. So we're going to tunnel through the firewall pretty easily with just 2 tools. If you open up and just use PuTTY, which you can get at putty.org, it's a Windows terminal emulation. If you just set up a local port, a 1088 or whatever you want for a proxy, set up basically a SOC 5 proxy. But the caveat to it is you're going to want to find a box, like a co-located box that you have outside of the country that you can actually ping or hit. So you create the profile in PuTTY like you would for a normal setting that you're going to save, but you simply add in the 1088 and the forwarding and the destination and whatnot and save it. You then log into that box, your co-located box or server, simply SSH into it, log into it, leave it up and running. Go into Firefox, simply put in everything for your SOC 5 proxy as a local host, and shuttle all your traffic through that. And does it work? Well, my IP changed, you can see, and they still don't detect any proxy. But the big question is if it actually did work and we got everything out of the country and took care of the client and everything, which we did. So as you can see, it does work. It is that simple. Simply just using SOC 5 proxy, Firefox, and PuTTY, you get around the Great Wall of China, the firewall. And after everything everyone had told us about it and everyone hyped it up, we expected something really crazy, but it was as simple as just those 2 steps and you were around it. So if you need to, you can find PuTTY at putty.org. One of the uses for this is if you're doing blue team, you can start using this technique to test your firewall rules and your network configs to make sure that nothing can get out. Red team, it's pretty obvious why you want to use this to get through and bypass stuff. For all of you that travel, I'm not saying this out loud, but for all of you that travel to hotels and you have to pay for the Wi-Fi and the portal comes up, this is a great way to thoroughly evaluate that before you spend your hard-earned money on that Wi-Fi at the hotel. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty quick here. Any questions?
Good job. Have you?
Have you used this to evaluate Boingo, like at an airport?
On flights, BlackBerry is in dire straits because no one really uses them much anymore. They're doing a promo right now for the BlackBerry 10s and whatnot for your Boingo on flights, whatever it's called. If someone was to use a user agent change string to change your user agent string on your browser to BlackBerry 10, I'm not saying anything, but you could probably evaluate that as well.
We like evaluation.